Okay, sorry. This video is going to come in two parts for you because I accidentally shut off the other video. I think, did I? I did. Okay. What I was saying is that the full moon on Sunday, October the 9th in Aries, is a moon that's a bit infantile and individualistic. Now, the shadow side of all Aries is Libra, and the shadow side of Libra is all Aries. At every full moon, the sun and moon oppose each other, which is can be husband against wife, a masculine authority figure against a subordinate. It's not so great for the opposite sex and relationships with the opposite sex. Unless you're cemented and bonded, unbreakable, then it can be highly passionate. And believe me when I tell you, a fiery Aries moon is very passionate. Our fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, are exciting and honest and great fun. They're people that, fire people, really motivate us and inspire us. So don't burn your weekend, October 8th and 9th, with power plays. And also realize and recognize if you did the work I asked you to do last week on shadows, and I'm happy for you to come and consult with me if you need to take a deeper look into your own shadows and your own dark sides so that you can learn to be cooperative. Now, please comment below and tell me what your 3 keys are and whether you tend to be a lone wolf in this walk in the world that you're living now, or are you someone who lives more happily coupled? I'd like to know. And then when you get a reading, we can take a look at that balance. So remind me that that's something you're interested in seeing, because you see, it's interesting that Aries appear to be selfish on the surface. But when there's a crisis, they can be so very sweet. Libra, the truth is, they can live these selfish lives and do selfish actions. And they do, there's no question. But when push comes to shove, they turn inside out Libra and they say, don't leave me, please. I need you, I want you. And so it is true that while Libras are very sweet and very other-oriented and very interested in other people, in their shadow sides, they turn Aries and say, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. And then they isolate. So that's an interesting phenomenon that we can expect on this rise of the full moon, because on Sunday, not only is the sun and moon opposite each other, but the moon is opposite Venus, and this can be a crisis for mothers and daughters. We also have some really good, strong healing powers at the same time, because this full moon is conjunct Chiron. And Chiron is an asteroid in the Kuiper Belt that is one of the Centaurians, half man and half god. And wherever Chiron is in your birth chart, it looks like a little K with a K with a stick sitting on top of the world. And it is where you'll suffer and have pain. And we astrologers can say exactly where that is, how that manifests. But once you go through it, just like me, a traumatic brain injury survivor, I've had an empirical and existential crisis of what it means to have cognition and high volatile emotional experiences by my inability to do what I had done before for 43 years when I had my accident. And this is a kind of energy, this full moon, where once you cross the threshold of pain, suffering, cancer, death, destruction, devastation, you're on the other side. And once you're through that ring of fire, the understanding that you're given and an experience puts you in a different state of mind, transforming from the wounded or the victimized to the healer, to the helper, to the centaur. Centaurs are half man and half god. That's what Sagittarius is. That is why those souls with stelliums in Sag, sun, moon, or rising in Sag, are so irresistible. So then, that full moon can be very, very healing. Now, I read for mommies and children. If you have children and you wonder, how can I better mother this child? We that have more than one child know the phenomenon that is interesting, that they eat the same food, they live in the same house, you'd think it'd be shared values, and yet they're very, very different from each other, and their experiences of what home life would seem like they lived maybe in two different homes once they're adults and you discuss life past. And that's an interesting and fascinating psychological phenomenon. So I read for children. I'm very family oriented. I'm a double Taurus with Cancer rising, so I'm Venus, Venus, Moon, and family and home matter to me more than anything else in the world. I especially tend to favor and feel protective over the female population at every stage of their life, from infancy until old age. And I have a Saturn in Dignity in Aquarius, which makes me very interested in history. I was studying to be a professor of medieval studies, and I've studied antiquity and the Middle Ages, European most especially, in depth. And I do legacy readings in astrology. So if you got on that ancestor kick and started digging into the past and have done the legacy readings, thus far I've gone far back as 1750. If you've done the legacy readings and you have birth dates, you won't have birth times at a certain point because all births were home births. I will read for you, make you a family portfolio, should you hire me to do so that you'll know the personality, behaviors, traits, and characteristics of those family members of legacy. I call them legacy readings. You can reach out to me at ducky@3keysastrology.com. I'll do a whole family album for you, should you hire me and desire to know that. You see the moon and family lines repeat, and that's really interesting. And we skip generations by the very evidence of RNA and DNA, those genetic strands that make us who we are. And I also have a high interest in biology and people in general. I'm also a writer. So you can hire me to do all those things. I consult, I teach astrology, and I read some pretty complex and interesting charts. I've read for 8,000 people thus far all over the world. I'm an advanced intuitive astrologer. So you can use me for those. Now, in order for you to have a really nice weekend at this culminating full moon in Aries, because of Chiron being attached to this moon, it can be very psychologically healing if you forgive and let go of the ego. If you can let go of bitter resentments and of me first mentality. And this especially applies to Aries, to Libra, to Cancer, and Capricorn. Are you fighting over custody? Why? Don't tear your children in half. So this is a great time to heal those involved in custody battles, those that are fighting in divorce battles, those that are siblings fighting over property of a deceased relative. That's so sick, but it happens so often. And because this sun is in Libra, make no mistake, when you have to hire a lawyer, he or she is eating dinner and having a pretty good lifestyle and fortune on your inability to communicate and cooperate. Never forget that. The courts are here because people can't get along. Lawyers are hired because the enemies you'll make will be the people you know, not the people you don't know, 99% of the time. So let's talk about the energy Monday through the results week. I'm calling this the energy of Monday, October 10 through Friday and October 14. So I'm loving it's that we've got this same great energy to get things done, to produce results. And that is for Monday especially, and Friday especially, Tuesday early. But as Tuesday progresses, Tuesday and Wednesday get tricky. I'm going to save that for last. I want to focus on the good things. So excellent for work ethic, follow through, for completion, for diligence. And there again, we've got a huge, strong emphasis on earth energy, productivity, and on air energy. Thinking things through that produces results. RESULTS is a theme of your week, and you can have some great ones. So I strongly emphasize these three words: just do it. What is it? Make a commitment, make it final, sign on the dotted line. This is great for negotiations. This is great for finalizing all legal matters. So you can really have a productive week and get results. It's accented and accentuated all week long. Now, on Tuesday, we have, okay, let me see. So we, like I said, emphasizing this good, get it done energy, just do it energy is Monday, Tuesday early, and especially Thursday, Friday. So on Tuesday, when the sun is trining Saturn, that's unstoppable energy to get things physical done. I mean, you'll be unstoppable. You'll feel strong, especially Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, but this benefits everybody. Now, Friday, we've got a grand lunar trine with the sun, Venus, Mars, and Saturn. I can't tell you how good this is for a wedding day, to get engaged. You hold the energy of the universe and cosmology in events that occur every day. Such is the reason you should hire an astrologer. So this is great for lovers who want to make commitments. Get down on your knees, guys. Say yes, girls. Get in front of the altar, everyone who's interested in marriage. This grand lunar trine is a union of mother, father, and this one is especially beneficial if you plan on having a family. So I absolutely love Friday the 14th. And Friday is always a good day or evening to get married because it's a Venus day, especially in May and especially in October during Taurus and Libra times. Now, Thursday, I love the 13th because we've got a lunar trine to Mercury. So this is your excellent delivery of words. This is great for songwriters. This is great for literature. This is great for reading. This is great for creating anything literary. It's great for students and teachers. It's great for us astrologers and we that teach astrology, and I do. So I like this. Now let's go talk about our tricky after late Tuesday into Wednesday. Guys, Wednesday is quite troublesome. And Wednesday is the 12th of October. If you're born on this day, come and get a reading. But if you're born on Friday, come and get a reading. The flavor of the year is going to be very different for those born the 12th versus those born the 14th. Why? Because Friday's filled with blessing energy from the universe. And Wednesday is troublesome, quite. Expect that this is that feeling of you've got your foot on the gas pedal or torquing your motorcycle full throttle, but you slam into something, a brick wall. This is gas pedal, brake at the same time energy. And so there's going to be a lot of accidents. Don't rush. Get up early. Take your time. Take a pause. Step back. Take a breath. Have the power of choice and think through, because this is kind of energy is scattered and squirrely. Have you ever seen a crazy squirrel? Like, they have such an agitated nervous system. Lots of little rodents do. They have highly charged nervous systems, which is Uranus, Mercury and Uranus. Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. So when people are born with this kind of energy, that's high anxiety. It's a mind that won't stop, that's running around and around on a wheel like a crazy mice that thinks it's going somewhere and it's going nowhere. Actually, that's a perfect analogy for Sun conjunct Uranus squaring Saturn. You're on a wheel, you're going around, 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 and you're not getting any results. And that's not the point of doing anything that we do, is it? So it's scattered, it's squirrel-like, it's a little bit sorry. I'm going to be insulting some of you, and I'm sorry. But higher-minded people don't sit in front of slot machines and hope they're going to win. And they don't sit and text and talk on their phone for hours and hours like a little chipmunk hoping to get a nut. It's crazy. Get outside and live your life. Broaden your horizons. Don't keep your narrow soul vision on one little tiny 3-inch flat screen where you think the whole world lives in. This says broaden your horizons and get big and get large and get open-minded, not focused on something in the electronic, artificial world where fantasy and fallacy hold big hands and live together. So Wednesday's energy is very squirrel-like. And your thoughts and actions will be futile if you can't control yourself or keep yourself calm. This is accident-prone energy. This is people getting upset very, very easily. And it is, quite frankly, a mess of a day. We've got Mars squaring Neptune. Now, I want you to know this is kind of drunken, stupid energy. These are the actions of, oh, have you ever, okay, I forget their names, but Garth and I forget the other guy's name, like stoners that think they're going to go change the world and they never get off the couch. They sit there with all these grand plans, or worse yet would be an amphetamine with a sedative. It's kind of that, I drank all night long, now I'm going to guzzle Red Bull the next day. Brakes and gas pedal, baby. They don't work together. They don't mesh together. Just like a highly anxious person often chooses somebody who's chill, who's relaxed, who's low-key, because each other has what each other needs. That laid-back, never get off the couch person needs the motivation of the high-strung person and vice versa. So I'm going to break down for you why late Tuesday and early into Wednesday can be messy, sloppy, futile, actually. So again, I explained that Mars squaring Uranus is those two stoners that have these great ideas but never get off the couch while they're in their smoky, stoned, euphoric, go nowheresville attitudes. This is kind of drunk, and this can be a signature for a drunk, actually. Mars in any conflicting conjunction, square in conjunction or opposition to Neptune can be an indication for alcoholism or drug addiction. So, and you know how stupid we all act under the influence of anything that's chemical. We just don't get things done. We make a bigger mess of life. That's what's going on. Number one, that's not all though. We've got the moon conjunct Uranus, which is the hypersensitivity that I talked about. And that's literally walking around like you got barbed wire wrapped around your belly and you have shocks in your socks. You're just hyper vigilant and hyper wired, and it would be like being fueled on cocaine and I don't know all the drugs they use now to make you irritable and irrational and in a hurry. That's what it's like. What is it called? I forget. Anyway, it's like drinking Red Bull and snorting Coke all day long, a whole bag of it. So that we don't want to do that. That's not good. That doesn't feel good. That's restless. That's impatient. That's impulsive. Yuck. And add that to Mars square Neptune. Yuck. But that's not all. Then we have Mercury opposing Jupiter. What is that? That's your big ideas and your arrogance and you thinking you know it all. We don't like that either. So this is arrogance plus. This is for the very opinionated, and be careful. Geminis, Libras, Aquariuses, and all control freaks and dominatrix and domineering people and despots will be monstrous this day. So if you work for someone like this, expect them to be a you know what, ASS, you know the rest of the word. They're going to be. This is an arrogant blankety blank, you know what, blankety blank. Then we have the moon squaring Saturn. Guys, this is cold rejection. This is, no, you can't do that. Get out. Nope, you can't live here anymore. It's awful energy, especially for women and children, especially for couples in conflict. When, if you've been monkeying around, this might be the day that your wife throws your ass right out the door once and for all. Not so good. If that's not bad enough, we have this, the moon is in conjunct Sun. Now remember, we're coming off of a full moon where that oppositional energy was already quite strong. So this is hostility between the sexes, and this can be warring parents. Do you think that's bad? It's not all. The propensity for electrical fires and shocks and catastrophic electrical injuries is quite high because the sun is in conjunct Uranus. This is also the energy that creates stroke and heart attack. When I tell you this day's a mess, I'm not kidding. And this means for all of us. But it's for all of us. No buts about it. Finally, the last most horrible other situation going on is we've got the moon in conjunct Venus. So the whole week is kind of tenuous for mothers and daughters, especially those rebellious teenage daughters or daughters still living under your own roof but wanting their independence but are financially dependent on you. That's just a Molotov cocktail to begin with, those dynamics. The more we keep our kids independent and educated and able to earn their own, the less emotional conflict and family dysfunction we will ever have. Take that to the bank. So women fighting amongst themselves, especially mothers and daughters, We have high runaway energy in this configuration late Tuesday and Wednesday. So my blessings for all of you are especially Tuesday, Wednesday. But overall, I'm calling this week results. You guys have a great week and stay tuned. I'll be giving you all of October's forecasts early this month. And I'm going to try to be dedicated enough to my astrology practice here on YouTube and its advertisements that you are in the know. If there's ever anything interesting you'd like me to explore, or people, I have somebody juicy that I'm going to bring up very soon. A complex mind, a criminal mind, a methamphetamine addict that is going to astonish you when we talk about drunk and stupid, or addicted and stupid, and these nefarious, arrogant dreams of people under the influence. The example I'm going to bring you will blow your socks off your feet. The more we stay away from the alteration of artificial chemical in pharmaceuticals and in the things we drink and eat, the more healthy we'll be. And I pray good health for you. Remember, everything can be cured this nefarious month of October, when the stock market will plummet, when health can be diminished, when we have an eclipse and a full moon, a pretty hot full moon, where people will tend to want to be all about me instead of we. So you have to say, am I a lone wolf? Or is it about time that I grew up and realized I am nothing without others, and that I need to hone and make better my ability to cooperate? You guys take care. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.